Good afternoon. I think it is afternoon. It was snowing yesterday. I had fun in the snow, and last night in the snow. I didn't film myself, but oh well. I had fun in the snow. Hmm. Then working on a very vintage device here today, directional finder, which I'll put it together tomorrow. I fixed everything up and it looks good. Should work good too. So, hi, toots. So today I'm going to talk about something because of checking emails last night. I got an email from Alexander Shereshevsky, longtime friend and former partner. He might visit here someday, and he gave me some news that George liszicasz died. And it got me to looking at George, and he just said, because George was liszicasz was a partner, okay? And I promised somebody I make this video. George and I met at Satellite Electronics on Main Street. Peter Sikora was the proprietor. He came up to me and said, "Are you John Hudson?" I said, "Yes, why? Would you like to come to see our office?" Who are you? George liszicasz, Owl Industries. So I said, "Sure, let me finish up with Peter." What you could do? Peter Sikora is my supplier of electronics vintage. Anyway, so I went down to Owl Industries' little office and met Alexander Shereshevsky and George liszicasz. And we talked, and they were interested in what I was doing, and they were working on Alex Pizarro's oil gas detection device, which was vacuum tube Novistors type, which Alex Pizarro made a lot of money finding oil and gas and minerals and water. And I seen the device too, because Alex Pizarro, with George Hathaway, showed it to me and tested it. Alex Pizarro passed away in '93, which I'm very sad he did. He would have told a lot of interesting things. He knew a lot of things. Anyway, so a few other meetings with Owl Industries, Alec and George. That's the case. Then something weird happened with 560 Canby Street Laboratory in 1988. It was closed. The whole building was closed. It was 6560 Canby Street, the old Murchie T building. It's 6 stories, 7 stories, 8 stories, and had the bottom section, and it was closed down. And I could come and go. I was supposed to find a new place and all that, and they came along. George liszicasz. After about a couple of weeks' time, seeing him once in a while, apparently he had friends at Boeing, and he got $80,000. So he approached me again, wanted to move to this place, which is 13th and Kingsway. Kingsway and 18th or 13th. Anyway, the building vanished, by the way. And I have a video I took inside of it. It's on Nancy Lazier on Hutchison's YouTube channel. I filmed it. Then, oh wow, this is incredible stuff. But anyway, I met Yin in '86, and we were planning to go and live in Germany and ship the lab to Germany. Okay, get away from George liszicasz. Anyway, that transpired. There was a lot of legalese, and lawyer Thomas Hodson. But anyway, let me just, before that, we did George liszicasz, Alec Shereshevsky and I did a lot of tests and experiments back then in that lab at 13th and Kingsway. Smile, John, smile. Keep smiling, buddy. So, from Alan, Mr. Allen supplied 80,000 from Boeing Aerospace. I got all the documents actually in here. I found the old file. It's very thick with all the legalese and transfer stuff that transpired, all documented, photocopied. Supreme Court of British Columbia, Canada. if you can see that. But anyway, some of the experiments were weird. One instant, George convinced me he could wire up my high-powered plasma caps, which he did do with an break gauge wire. He were but wound one in reverse, which exploded. He got something that big, 100-pound. Boom! Luckily, nobody was near that. It probably would have got nailed with something. I heard the explosion. I was at the other end of the lab and went out the door real fast. I said, what the blazes? And it was all kind of covered up with George's friends. They just say, well, just, put it in there. And they were connected to Environment Canada. Wow. Talk about dirty stuff. But I found a picture too. Metal samples. I don't know if that's George. That was in the file. Anything written on here? No, nothing blank. Maybe it's something somebody else. These are a bunch of tools and things that somebody else is holding. It could have been. Anyway. So, as time progressed, I was preparing to go to Germany, but the tests were continuing. Alec was doing a lot of testing and developed all kinds of sensors and technology. And we made a Smith coil, and am I still taping? Yeah, okay, cool. A Smith coil. I mean, Alec and I got along fine, and still best friends, actually, and he's going to come visit here someday. Hi, Alec, if you ever see this, we're making a memorial for George. A happy hour for George, who went on to unknown territory, I presume, the final frontier, let's say. So Alec and I had a lot of fun. Alec was a genius in creating all different things. Georgie was more of the playing with diodes and a meter. And he'd get on our case all the time, yelling and screaming and yelling. That was George. As Yin will testify to that, who she met him in person when I moved to Germany. But anyway, so it's a long story. A long, long story. A long, long way to Tipperary. So anyway, a lot of weird things happened in there that I don't know the full story on it in that lab. Alec mentioned things that were moving sideways, and he was getting kind of nervous about that. Oh, getting another smoke. He's kind of nervous about that. And they have to call in psychics. Now, I was in Germany at the time. When the psychics were calling in, and NBC, Henry Champ, I put smokes over here, was called in. Wanted to interview me, and I guess he did. Because Peter Von Puttkammer sold footage to NBC. But anyway, back to the lab at 13th and Kingsway. That's where the building vanished. And a lot of other things happened, and nails were floating through the walls, and all kinds of weird things. So weird, in fact, that... And this is when I was there, and then after leaving for Germany. Wow. So I did that black and white film, as you can see, and things were happening under my control, and then I think there's happening under George's liszicasz control, and Alex Sarashevsky. Reflecting. So when I was in Germany, George, the tension was very strong with George. Screams and yells and called us Budsmick and this or something weird like that, and then on it went, the argument. I pretty much fed up at the time that, wow. Anyway. Something happened in that lab with those transformers. Because George, these things are 1,500 pounds, I would think, or maybe more or less. I don't know, but they're so heavy you had to use cranes and things to move them. One of them apparently levitated off a truck and slammed George, who put him in the hospital for 3 months. Very serious injury. I'm sure I don't know all the details. Alec did mention bits and pieces, and Alec said he actually used all his strength to lift the transformer off George. I mean, this stuff is written up by the lawyers, Hodson and the others. It's just totally, there's Kowalski and Company. Sureguard mini storage where the container was sabotaged and never made it to Germany, by the way, so the Canadians took care of it. I think that's where some people get their idea that the government took it, and here's some of the government letters. Richard Glue, 1990, your recent visit to our office. January 1992, Ken Weil, possession and storage, Sureguard mini storage. It is there understood your office will remove the material from the present location and place it in 20-foot shipping. Oh, that's some of the PC thing. And these are all copies of correspondence from Richard Glue and the government folks. So the ones that contain PCBs were destroyed. Action General Systems, George liszicasz, and Alexander Sherachevsky order. Order of the court. This court orders that an injunction be and hereby granted against the defendant and the plaintiff, restraining each of them from disposing, transferring, assigning, encumbering, or in any way dealing with or removing the present location at 398 East 13th Street, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The equipment known as the Hutchison Effect apparatus includes test equipment, lab contents, capacitor banks, high voltage, tools, records of laboratory including videotapes, photographs, notebooks, metal samples, together with supporting apparatus, machine tools, and accessories. Firearms, guns. This court further orders that the plaintiff is hereby permitted from the date of this order will further order this court to enter the premises at 398 East 13th Street, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, commencing forthwith, the lawyer talk, Wednesday and Friday each week between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to view and to utilize this after-mentioned equipment for purposes only in conducting experimental work, and the defendants and their agents shall permit the plaintiff to be entered the premises. Boom! Good heavens, interesting. This court further orders that the plaintiff abide by any order which the court may make as to damages arising out of the granting of this injunction. This court further orders that the plaintiff's applications for the balance of the relief claimed for in the notice of motion to be hereby adjourned, and this court further orders that the cost of this application to be cost in the cause by the court. Solicitor for the plaintiff, solicitor for the defendants. Can't really read their names, but that was 1989. Wow. PCBs. There's a lot of stuff, and it's a whole book here. Wow. And this is telex. It's from Bob Gajewski, who is a CSI agent, by the way. That's interesting unto itself. Here's a copy of the official thing. Wow, Elizabeth II and all that cool stuff. What else is in here? I wonder. Background information regarding myself. Oh, okay. Ammunition. This is something about guns. That's interesting. I don't know what this is in late night. Some other case? I didn't know that was in January raid. Okay, the Trudeau. I didn't know that was in here. Just added it. The January raid. I wonder if this is that. I don't know. I haven't looked at this stuff for a long time. January raid. I was registering machine guns, okay, which I did do eventually. I might as well read it, huh? Okay. I think I got this what? Back to Kowalski and Company. This stuff's all mixed up, by the way. Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. I have been in this physically on a video, documentation, video. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff in here. Morse code, holy moly. Western stevedoring container, okay. I thought this was something from Boeing in here. Boy, I lead a rather, not too boring life, I guess. I thought I saw something here from Boeing Aerospace, all cargo express. We're going to ship it to Deutschland. Oh, let's see then. The guns too. Oh, I guess so. I don't know if Germany would allow them in, but Minister Perrin Beatty was involved. This is kind of fun doing this, I guess. Perrin Beatty, Minister of Defense, was it? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. What's this one? Cost? Checks and balances. I have it. Oh, yeah, this is from Boeing Aerospace Company. Okay, this is from Boeing. It's got a stamp on it somewhere. So, Stephen T. Carenco makes the following statement regarding Axum General Systems Ltd. I am a shareholder in the Axum shareholder. Okay, myself and a group of investors. Now, one of the directors, George Liszicasz and Alexander Shershicky. Also, my friends. Here, in after I will refer to them as George and Alec. From the Axum newsletter and from George and Alec, I understand the following. The current project, Field Interaction Systems, will continue until June 1989 and will conclude in a demonstration of the fifth. For every $5,000 spent to be on the project, 10% of all the rights go to the technology and equipment of John Hutchison becomes the property of property Axum Limited. Axum Limited shares are backed by 200,000 shares of the Lux project and the petrol minerals. Oh. On December 1988, I visited Axon Limited. This time I have met for the first time John Hutchison, president and director of the company. George and Alec and John showed me around the facility. I had dinner with George and Alec. John was unable to attend. We have talked about the project, and they have informed me that some of the obtained effects appear to be psychotronic. Which is interesting, whatever that means. The next day, on December 30, 1988, I called George and invited him to talk about business opportunities. This evening, I received the following phone call. Me, hello, caller, are you Stephen Kobach of Boeing Aerospace? Me, yes. Caller, I understand that you are dealing with John Hutchison. Me, who are you? I'm from the National Department of Defense, Canada, and the United States. Stay away from this project. Me, I think this is Mel Winfield. Mel would do this stupid thing like that. I'm not dealing with John Hutchison. I was puzzled by the call. Anyway, there's nothing ever happened again. Let's see, there were any problems. Hutchison did not indicate there were any problems when I was there, and I was available to talk to him. I had mentioned the phone call to George and indicated that other investors also received calls. That's intriguing. I wonder how that... I didn't forget about that one. Until the situation is cleaned up, I can't talk about further investment. Signed, Stephen T. Aaron Kovacs, Washington County Employee. This has personally appeared before Stephen A. Countenance. And then it was notarized. I know who probably called him was Mel Winfield. He was also calling George Hathaway, or some of his friends were. And Mel was always into bad stuff. Oh, these are the shares. Writing. Axum General System Ltd. So, okay, so this is some of the court case, so tons of this stuff I have. And I got the originals and crates of papers and things. This is just got the German stuff, it goes on and on. Anyway, so what else can I talk about? Georgie. Called Roasting George. I got along with Alexander. Oh, A-OK. We're so good friends. The other character was Mel Winfield. Yeah, he was really a problem. He got government people phoning him. He got in serious trouble because he got a $500,000 from Henry Kissinger's secretary, or one of the dudes, and I had reported to Alex Pizarro, and Alex contacted John Alexander, who cut him off, and Mel got phone calls from what he claimed was the Pentagon, but I doubt it was Pentagon makes phone calls like that. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So that's some of the darker issues that happened with George. I'm going to talk about George when Alex shows up here again. We used to have a yearly dinner talking about George liszicasz. But George stole Alex Pizarro's oil gas device, apparently. So George, after I went to Germany, I never heard from George ever again. George gleaned a lot of information off Alec and myself on the diodes and crystal power cells as detectors. And they had us walking around the streets of Vancouver with these things, taking measurements, which we did do. Wow, and it's hard to go over this in a decent time frame, but anyway. So I left. The shipping container was sabotaged. Lawyers were involved, Hudson and government officials and that. When I got back, I got all my machine guns and firearms returned out of storage and a garage full of electronics, which unfortunately I got rid of. I guess I wasn't in the mood for anything. I had a lot of good stuff that I just took apart and sold as scrap metal to New West Salvage. It's one of the stupid things I did. I've done a few stupid things. That is crazy crap, man. Anyway, that's going back in time. When I was in Germany, they're trying to get even with me, I think. George, because they got some weird person called Electra Briggs and Anne-Marie Briggs involved, who had contacts in the CIA, the FBI, and I had Henry Champ of NBC calling me up, talking to me. And who comes to Dr. Margarita's door, where I was staying in Austria, was Interpol. I was interviewed by Interpol, asked me, am I all right? And you're not being harmed, you're not being retained. And no, I said, no, where do you get all this info from? And they go, oh, we just heard something on that. I wonder if it shows Henry Champ did, I don't know. So that slowly died away after 2 years in Deutschland. Over 2 years, I returned. Met government people who gave me the keys to Sugar mini storage to get all my goodies, which were all the guns and stuff and the electronics, and it was all delivered to a friend of mine. To my sister's garage. Then, as I said, I got rid of the electronics. I got rid of the guns too, to Triple B auctions, and that's totally stupid of me too. Wow. I don't want to think about it too much. It's just... But life goes on. And other things transpired, and then Alec would come around and gave me some things. He's got parts of the old lab that he's going to return on his visit down here. Stuff he saved from the crazy people. And George liszicasz actually forbidden Alec to replicate the oil gas detector for fuel stress detector. So they just broke up when I went to Germany. Wow, that's some of the stuff on Georgie liszicasz, who was interviewed on a show. He didn't mention any of that segment of a couple of years. Since he's gone to the final frontier, well, I thought I'd do a story on him, which I just did. What other things can I mention about that? I don't know. But they call the moving companies coming from the Merchant G building, 560 Canby Street, a new building stands there today, to the 13th and Kingsway Lab. Anything else I can think of? As mentioned to Alec, we kind of, if George, by the way, made millions of dollars, $70 million. Head of the X Energy company or some weird thing anyway. I never heard from him, never seen him except for the few YouTube videos and his other things he was doing. That's all on the internet. I found that interesting video of his where he skips over this 2 years. Was it 2 years? About a 2-year period or 3-year period. And he was with me, and when I was with Ian, because Ian and I, we broke into the lab and we're going to try and get the stuff out, and a lot of stuff went by a truck, and then cops show up, George liszicasz, screaming and yelling like he's going to blow his cork. And, you know, just sort of. We had security guards, by the way. Ian got security, and we just left very silently. It's getting a little hot here. Oh. So that's the story of, part of the story of George liszicasz. I wonder if I got Tom, because Tom Hodgson was sending faxes to Roland Brito, where it's staying first. And I wonder if I have those. I might have those. Because Thomas Hodgson said he won't believe what's going on. He mentioned all the weird stuff and things levitating and what they were doing, and I don't know. I got the letter somewhere because I got asked Roland for take a photocopy of them and add them to my files. I sure got them somewhere, I guess. Hang on. How long has this talk been going on? Oh, 31 minutes. I think it's 30. Baggy eyes. Wow, so I wanted to just mention that on the death of our little funny person, Georgie. A sort of a eulogy to George liszicasz from your favorite hobbit, me. If Alec will see this, he'll laugh his head off. And Alec is kind of like me. He likes going to scrapyards and playing with witchy things and energies and stuff. He's very quiet. He's not public. Oh. Sorry, Alec, if you see this, that I mentioned your name, but don't worry about it. Nothing will happen. Don't panic. Yeah, that's something. What is this other stuff? I went modifications on the gun, active working machine gun, 25 deactivated machine gun. This is something I wrote, or lawyers wrote. So that's when we went to sue the police or the government. Who wrote this stuff? My lawyer? Yeah, let's see. This thing must be action requested in view of the relationship between myself and the RCMP, extending over a period of several years, during which time several members of the detachment had attended to my house in view of my long-standing residence in the community and in view of the actions of the Constable Michalko prior to January 1, 1978, and assuring me that there was nothing to be registered. That's what he, crazy guy he was. As a result, having incurred substantial legal expenses as well as enduring a high degree of stress and personal suffering, I therefore request an investigation by the Chief of the North Vancouver RCMP detachment. I therefore request the following: a written apology from the RCMP, disciplinary action against the officers involved in decision complained about. I understand that the Constable Chuckle has subsequently left what? Another page missing or something? Left. And the payment of the legal fees incurred as a result of this raid. The full legal fees are not yet determined. Blah blah. What's in this date? Ooh. $2,000. Actually, $2,895. Wow. I don't get it. Kowalski and Company. What's this all about? So all my machine guns were returned to me, registered and put nicely down. I got my FACs. I think Canada now is eternally getting rid of all guns, and it's gone to one of those communist kind of thing. Copy Kowalski Company. Blah 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 blah. Transmissions, filing feed. Oh, okay. Copy. I have seen this physically on a video documentation. My knowledge, Mr. Hutchison was conducting his experimental work at 3980 13th Street in the Pennsylvania and Canada. Mr. Alexander arrived from the Vancouver police department. Equipment will not be removed. Liszicasz. I asked George Liszicasz by saying to him, "What do you want from John?" Meaning John Hutchison. You know, all of this is John's equipment. Mr. Liszicasz replied to me by saying, "Yes, I know it's all his," and I said, blah, 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 you can't. Okay. Don't know. I remember that night. George was like gone bonkers. Anyway. That's the case of George Liszicasz, and memory of, who has gone to the final frontier. I need somebody to properly dictate all this stuff and put it into a movie or a motion picture, right? You think? Ha! All right, John. Well, that's just part of the X-Files I got. Tons of stuff like this, different aspects of my life. I wanted to get that out of, well, since I learned last night that Georgie has gone to fight. I just wanted to say that about Georgie. He's a crabby little man, but, oh well. Surprised. Anyway. Interesting stuff. Joel Liszicasz has expired. I should put a link to his interview he had. Now, the thing was, George, also my partner, Alex Bizzaro. My partner, Alex Bizzaro, had a run-in with him. He wouldn't give back the fuel stress detector that Alex Bizzaro had, and it turned into a very dangerous situation. This I learned a little after already committed to George Lissicasz's proposal. Now he's a multimillionaire, or was. I saw the documentation on the what you discovered with the diodes. It was quite impressive, hooking it into a computer system and getting interesting results. I guess he got a lot of good results because he made millions and millions, up to 70 million, I'm told. But I had no communication with him after 1989. Dead silence. After that court case, and nothing. Anyway. But Alex and I, we went, Alexander Sharastesky and I always go to the Scrapyard, North Star Salvage, and other places to get good stuff. Oh, birds of a feather, you know. We'll stick together. Oh, that's a story in part. I mean, it's not the best. I'm not very good at going through this stuff, but oh well. Hmm. What time is it? Oh, 40 minutes into this talk with George liszicasz. I know he threatened Alexander Sharatsky on a number of occasions. Nobody's allowed to repeat his weird little fuel stress detector, oil, gas, minerals, and all that. But it's very interesting to observe the documents that Alex did get on it years ago. Wow. Wow. I say that's a wow. I found documents that Thomas Lee Richardson, Tesla's friend, gave me. One of them is rewritten "O Canada" on original paper. I remember Thomas giving me a copy of that. I still have it. I don't have his book he wrote on Tesla, but you can find it. It's the Vancouver Public Library if you want. So I use Tesla as a study group. Basically, I study the old timers. Tesla was just one of them, and I got into his making of things and seeing things that actually could, stuff that he used in his patents. Device for transmitting super high frequencies was generated by Western Electrical Company turn of the century. You can see it on BCTV News when they did the first levitation demonstration for the news people in Canada. They filmed it running as well. With 20 parsons. It's a fun time. Other topics I'd like to discuss maybe very briefly is the 19mm anti-aircraft cannon that from J.P. Fell Armory, North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, 103rd Airborne Squadron Cadets. They sold it for $200 to Amic Salvage, and somebody tried to take it apart and got killed by it, and I heard about it in the newspapers. And I went down and talked to Amic Salvage. You can have it. You don't have any money. You can be careful. It's loaded with springs. Okay, send me a letter on saying that. And they told the Armory people it's John is now, so I took a third of it home. Some of it you can see in the news reels. But I'd like to find the whole article, and I keep asking people, do you ever find my cannon? M1, M4, 90mm aircraft gun. I don't have any parts, but I just mentioned that. So I'm going to go put this back in the pile of papers. Carry you, too. Little Johnny Quick Change. So I'll put this in here. Oh, see, this whole thing is full of this stuff. And tons and tons of junk here. Wow, I can't even fit it in there. Crates of stuff like this. And videos. Close to 200 videos that nobody's ever seen. I guess I can stick it in there. What if I pulled up something and then what did I get? Oh, good heavens, okay. There's Yin in India. Pictures she sent me, okay. There's Defense Technical Information Center, and that's me there, okay. I got lots of their stuff. I submitted a contract to DARPA, or a proposal to DARPA on crystal power cells years ago. This is full as well. Ooh! I'll show you real quick, I guess. 1 and 2. This is loaded. That's all the papers and letters and documents. Let's pull that around on Canada. Oh, Canada. Ooh, wow. Canada. What's this all about? Dr. Kuhn, Director of Scientific Technical Intelligence. Thank you for your recent letters, in which I found most interesting. So he sent a bunch of photos on his visit with his team, 1986 already. But going on that, it's going to take forever. Talking about this stuff. Hopefully we're going to all upload it on the internet. You can check it out. Could be fun. Ha! No, okay, that's all done. Working on a patient here and made a box for it. And it looks like it could be quite late. I should slowly get ready to go. I'm getting 4 pallets of goodies in here. 4 or 5. 10,000 pounds of stuff to add to this. Okay, I gotta go. Could be quite late. I don't know. How many minutes now? Oh, 45 minutes chit-chat talk. About George liszicasz. George, where are you? Have to put a... Oh, lordy. George, where are you? I'm sure... Oh, let's see. Georgie Porgy. That's what Alexander calls it, Georgie Porgy. Got to make this video and remember to George liszicasz, our best friend. Fucker. What happened, so adds to the story, I guess, but George apparently he was quite ill for quite a while, according to Alec. I guess Alec knows more than I would on him, but not a good thing. But it's his own fault. I mean, being so negative all the time. Wow. Oh well. What goes around comes around, I guess. What goes around comes back too. That's a good box. I was gonna make a metal one, but I couldn't. This is pretty strong. It's good as steel. This wooden box down here. Or this thing to fit in there. It's much intact. The funny thing is that somebody painted it. It's got history to it, so all this paint flakes off. Where's the camera? Yeah, it flakes out of his finger. So I'm going to get rid of the paint. Won't take long. I redo it. A very strange device. It's, as I mentioned before, it's a directional finder. Very rare type. It's Army, Navy. This guy would have a box and cleaned up. I think this paint here is original. The darker stuff is, this comes off by the fingernail. I'll clean it up, get it running. It's all totally complete. Well, I got time, got a little time to do this, so. Takes old metal tubes. It's all complete. Another thing that came the other day, I still can't read this tag, but once I get the little paper on it, it'll come out. It's a radio receiver. Okay, I'm gonna go. I should do a little walk around saying farewell to George if you saw me today. I don't know him. I never heard of him. That's George's reaction. Yeah. Well, George, happy travels to the final frontier. We all we'll miss you. And Alec and I will have a little party someday when we get together about that whole thing. It's getting dark out. I'm getting a little bit there, so I better get my vitamins. Take my vitamins. Farewell, George. Never saw you again after I went to Germany. Fascinating. Anyway, gotta go. Take care. Oh, take any wooden nickels, Georgie.